Hello and welcome to Hot Topics with the Kangen Kid, where we mix hot wings with burning distributor questions and won't accept watered-down answers. I'm your host, Nathaniel Kostecka, the original Kangen Kid, and today we have a very special guest. Very well-known distributor and water ionizer aficionado, Gerald Kostecka. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your premiere episode. I feel honored. I have to tell you, though, I don't normally get nervous before I do a video or get on stage or whatever, but I was genuinely nervous for this because I think I'm going to burn my face off.
Well, they say spiciness is the great equalizer.
Okay.
So first of all, Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year to you too.
And let me kind of explain what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
So I have a list of questions I'm going to be asking you, but before I ask them, we're both going to eat one of these delicious hot wings with one of the sauces that are in front of us.
Okay.
As the interview progresses, the heat of the wings will also progress, as well as the intensity of the questions.
Okay.
So why don't we get started by eating our first wing? The first one's going to be plain, just as a control, so we can know what we're getting ourselves into.
Okay. I can do that. Well, cheers then.
Cheers. Can't go wrong with a good hot wing.
Mm-mm. Not at all. I'm hungry too.
So,
Okay.
for those who may not know you, you discovered Enagic and Kangen water back in 2007 and have played a very important role in the Enagic business. But how were you actually introduced to Enagic?
That's a good question. So, when I was originally introduced to Enagic, it was by Daniel DeMcCauley. Most people who are in the business and they're active, they know that name. They might not have met him, but they at least know his name. I had worked with Danny previously before ever finding Enagic. I was actually the director of sales and marketing for the marketing company that we were part of, a telecom product that we were introducing, and basically what our task was to prepare the mother company basically to be able to do an IPO, and they ended up doing one. And so when they did that, our task was pretty much finished. So we wrapped up at the end of it was at the very end of 2006. So going into 2007, we were kind of looking for something, and dabbled for about a month in prepaid legal. That was we had some contacts that were very high up in that organization, and tried it out. And I just didn't have the passion. I didn't have the passion for prepaid legal services. And for me, if I'm going to do something, I really do have to be passionate about it, because
Absolutely.
when I do a project like Enagic, when I do a project like Next Generation, NGBR, when I did that with Daniel, I really have to get behind it, because I know the level to which I'm going to immerse myself into the entire thing. So I really have to believe in it, because I'm not one of these guys that's a salesman for the sake of money. I've never been like that. I'm really not money motivated. Obviously, money's an important thing, and we all need it. But when it comes down to it, that's not my driving force. So Daniel had contacted me early in 2007, said that he went to a presentation and saw this thing, and he was kind of scratching his head about it. So he asked me if I would take a look at a website and just give him my opinion. And so I did, and it was the original Enagic.com website for Enagic USA. And I can tell you that to say it was unimpressive would be an understatement. When I went and looked at it, first off, I was like, what is this? Because it was like talking about healthy water. And I had always been a water drinker. You kind of know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had always been a water drinker, and so I was just kind of like, okay, healthy water. I mean, it really, to me, in that moment, it sounded like the kumbaya, let's everybody join hands in a circle and start singing type thing. That's what it kind of felt like to me. So I look at this website, and there was misspellings. It had been translated from Japanese into English by somebody who maybe didn't speak either language. I don't know. So it was kind of rough, and I was just like, wow, man, I don't see it. Because you got to remember, I've been in and around the network industry for almost 30 years now, in one way or another. So I've seen a lot of different projects and websites, and and I know that in this industry there's a lot of them that are real slick. They're very polished, and it's like, because that's their calling card, and in most cases that's more impressive than their product.
Yeah.
This one was kind of different. It took me a little while to figure that out, but they didn't really put a big emphasis on the razzle dazzle, and being that slick Willy type of thing. So I wasn't that impressed by it. I told Daniel I wasn't impressed by it. I said, it looks like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to me. And he said, okay, that's what I thought, and he was in full agreement and everything. And then it was about 2 months later, maybe 2.5 months later, he contacted me again and asked me to take a look at it again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. And so I did, and quite literally nothing had changed. The entire website was exactly what it was when I had seen it those months prior, including the misspellings, including the translation errors.
The lack of razzle-dazzle.
Exactly, that lack of razzle-dazzle. And so I called him back and I said, hey, look, man, I checked it out again. Nothing's changed there and nothing's changed here. Then he said something during that conversation that I should have paid closer attention to, because he said, okay, I think there might be something here. That's what he said. Then the next month, he contacted me again and said, hey, I've decided to connect with this project. And I'm thinking, Danny's lost his mind. That's what I thought. I thought he has lost his mind. He's gone off the deep end. This is, I don't know what it is that he sees, but I just don't see it. But he went ahead and jumped on board. Now, here's the thing that everybody has to understand is, previously, I was the director of sales and marketing for that company. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of responsibilities. I did a lot of things. And when Daniel went on board, see, a lot of people think, as soon as Daniel went on board that, everybody that knew him just jumped on board because he has a decent track record of success. He does. But that wasn't my thing. So it's kind of funny because I was actually one of the last people that came on board. As a matter of fact, when I came on, I was Daniel's first 5A sale.
Oh, wow. So
just to put it in context, as far as how many other people had kind of come on board, I was not at the forefront. And so that's actually how I got introduced to it. And it's funny because before I actually, decided to jump on board, Daniel started bringing me over water. And this is kind of it's a story that has now gotten through the Enagic ranks, and a lot of people know this one. But if you don't, I want you to understand that, a lot of people are skeptical when they are introduced to healthy water.
Yeah.
Not just, in businesses in general, these type of businesses in general, there's always a decent amount of skepticism. Well, I was no different. As a matter of fact, if you think you're skeptical, you probably have nothing on me, because you have to remember, from the first time that I saw this till when I actually bought my machine was almost 9 months. So this was not like I saw it immediately and just no. As a matter of fact, for a couple months, Daniel was bringing me water, and I was refusing to drink it because I kind of felt like that whole I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid, And for those younger people who don't know what the heck that means. It's referring to this cult that all committed suicide by drinking grape Kool-Aid. That's what that means. So if you ever hear that, now you know what it means, okay? So I was actually, Daniel would drop off water, and like 2 or 3 days later, he would call me up and say, hey, man, I'm going to bring over a new batch of water. And I'd say, okay, buddy, I'll be ready for you. And what that meant is I needed to start dumping out these gallon jugs and these jugs into the sink because we hadn't actually drank it. And eventually, my wife, on one of the times I was doing it, your mother, she said, she came into the kitchen and said, what are you doing? And I said, Danny's coming over, and so I'm pouring out the water. And she said, no, what are you doing? And it was the way that she said it, and the relationship between me and your mom. It's like, I knew, okay,
open communication, always,
if I don't start drinking this stuff and at least give it a shot, I've got to deal with her ramifications, and I don't want to deal with that. Happy wife, happy life, man, and it's definitely true. So, I I said, okay, fine, we'll start drinking the water, which we did, and then I started seeing some dramatic improvements and everything, and that was November of 2007. So I mean, we just entered in a couple months ago. We just entered into our 13th year. 12 full years, which means if you understand everything, like you were 11 or 12.
Yeah.
When we first started this, and I always exposed to the different businesses that we did.
Absolutely.
I wanted you to be able to feel comfortable, communicating, talking to people and everything. So you dove right in, and that's kind of where I was thinking about it, and I was like, without me, he's not the Kangen kid, because if I wouldn't have done that, you would have never been the Kangen kid.
Very true.
But really, I mean, you embodied that nickname, because not only did you help with with learning about stuff, but you would go to the events, you would help with handing out the bars during the breaks and stuff. You'd go and work the room and talk to everybody and stuff. So that was a really cool thing, and it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this, that I've seen this company, and like I said, my experience is such that I've seen a lot of companies that try.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of them fall really short. When I first saw Magic, it definitely had room for improvement, and now going into 13 years of being a part of this, not only have I seen those improvements, but I have a better understanding of not making that judgment, I guess, right off the bat.
Absolutely.
Because I thought about it and I was like, Usain Bolt probably wasn't that impressive as a baby.
Yeah.
But look at him now.
It is like watching a child grow up.
It really
You don't
was.
know what they're going to be good at, but they're going to be good at something.
Yeah, well, it was like watching Magic grow was one of those things that you were kind of like, okay, let's see what happens. Then all of a sudden there was like an office opening up here and another office opening up here and then another one over here and then another one on the other side of the world. And the company just kept going. And so, that was one of the things early on that I guess I was very blessed to be there at that time, because
You're able to see that growth.
I have been able to see that growth. That's why if you show up today, all the more power to you, okay? Because a lot of the, a lot of the roads have been paved, but not only paved, man. Like, we came through with machetes chopping down the jungle for that road to get paved through.
Absolutely.
But that's basically how I was introduced to it. So I was introduced to it just like most people are. Somebody that I knew who recognized the potential, or wanted to recognize the potential, contacted me to get my opinion about it. And that is a great way to introduce people to this, is because when you ask somebody for their opinion on this, what you're basically saying is, I respect your opinion, and I would appreciate it if you would take a look at something that, before I jump in, make sure I'm not jumping into a moat full of crocodiles.
Yeah, make sure it's not just me.
Make sure it's not just me. So that's how I was introduced to it, and that's how kind of we got to where we are today.
Very interesting. Well, let's move on to the next set of wings, shall we?
Yes.
The first sauce we have is a jalapeno hot sauce. This is this is the lowest on the Scoville rating when it comes to these sauces, so this should be the easiest of them.
Okay, I will.
Let's go. We're gonna do a little dab of the sauce on there.
Shoot.
That's okay.
It's very liquidy.
Yes. Oh, I can smell that. Wow. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay.
Any jalapeno lovers out there, I have a feeling you'd very much enjoy this sauce.
Okay. This is when it gets real.
This is when the proverbial stuff hits the fan.
Okay. Should we just dig in?
We shall.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right.
Actually got a very good flavor.
No, actually does. That's not too hot. That's not too hot at all.
That's just kind of tasty.
I really am hungry too. This is going to work.
This works out. This is lunch and an interview.
Absolutely.
All right, so
Okay.
you've written a couple of different books to help distributors out, with Ride the Wave in its 6th edition, and having sold more than 30,000 copies worldwide. But my question is, why did you choose Ride the Wave as a title? It just seems too specific of a title to not have some kind of meaning.
That's kind of funny. Very few people have asked me that, actually. I guess the original idea behind using Ride the Wave as the title. I am very much about multiple meanings and you know, like being able to say one thing that has like 6 different potential meanings.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was really thinking is like Ride the Wave as far as the physical wave of the Kangen water that's produced out of the machine in a business sense.
Which might I add, that image on the front, I think, encapsulates that perfectly.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, you know, having the machine squirting out the water and then having the surfer, you know, that was kind of what the intention was on more of that literal front, I guess, of riding the enagic wave when it came to the water itself. But I've been in and around business for a long time, so I understand consumer trends.
Yes.
Which also, when you see a consumer trend graphic, it typically looks like a wave.
Yeah.
Because there's the long time here where it's proving itself, and then it starts to gain momentum.
Early adopters, then it hits the mass market.
And so I was also looking at it to have that type of meaning.
Gotcha.
So to really embody, I guess, the different aspects of this project and what it could offer. So, you know, Ride the Wave was yes, it was to represent the machine in the water, you know, but it was also to represent this trend that we are in the middle of right now, and we're watching it grow and grow and grow. I mean, it's like when we first started this thing all those years ago, you hardly saw or heard anything about alkaline or ionized, alkaline ionized water.
And now it's become a buzzword.
Now it's a buzzword. Yeah. Now it's like you can go to the shelves on the store and there's, whole sections that are dedicated to alkaline water. The reality is what they are offering and what we have are two entirely different things, but because it's so early on in the marketplace introduction, the end consumer doesn't understand that difference yet.
Gotcha.
But that comes with time.
Yeah.
Because eventually that does have a little bit of a
little aftertaste. A little bit of aftertaste.
It does have a little bit of an aftertaste.
That lingering.
It was kind of like a letting you know it's there type of thing. So, I'm kind of worried about it here. That's I do okay with hot, but it's been a while since I dabbled in that type of direction. So, but yeah, so that was what the intention for the title was to really embody
one of those multiple meanings.
Yeah, I wanted it to have multiple meanings, but also wanted it to be able to be something fun,
Yeah.
And like, the journey. That was the other thing. The Ride the Wave. It's like literally the journey that you'll be on when you become an Enagic distributor. That was the reason I came up with that title. And I think it's been a good one.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and take the next set of wings. The next sauce we have is a Chipotle hot sauce.
Okay.
So we'll see how this one treats us.
All right, I guess we'll give this little thing a shake. Well, this seems a little thicker.
A little thicker?
It does. I don't know, but...
Oh, yeah, it seems a little bit thicker than the jalapeno sauce.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah.
This is a lot thicker.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hey.
Guess you're going to do it.
Do it right. Do it right, right? Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, I know we're not supposed to drink water with this because it just swishes the capsaicin around, but...
Ooh, it smells so smoky.
Does it?
Cheers, sir.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it smells delicious.
Did we cheers?
Bam. There you go.
Wow, that actually does... come on.
Mmm. Has a smoky barbecue flavor.
Mm-hmm. Really not that hot.
Very tasty, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That was really tasty. No, there's some heat.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you.
It does. There's a little bit. There's a little bit there.
So
it's residing right on the tongue too.
So many distributors have referred to your book Ride the Wave as the Enagic Bible and use it religiously to help build their business. Why did you actually decide to write the book in the first place?
Wow, that's a good question too. So, writing the book was done more out of necessity than anything else. So, when I first became a distributor, like I said, I came in under Daniel, and because Daniel and I had worked together previously, he already knew what my strengths were. He knew what my skill set was, and I knew what his was. Danny's one of the best people in front of the room that I've ever seen. He can read a room in about 30 seconds. And he will know exactly how to tailor his presentation, his delivery, his everything based on that skill set. And it's taken him decades to develop.
Yeah.
To be able to, here comes the drips. Okay. It's taken him decades to develop that ability. So basically when we started, we kind of made this agreement where Danny was going to take care of the front of the room, and I was going to learn all the information. So for like the first month that I was with Enagic, I did nothing but research. I mean, it was, I don't know if you remember it or not, but I mean,
I do.
10, 12-hour days in front of the computer, looking up everything I could, finding books, reading, doing everything I could to understand the Enagic, well, not even Enagic, just the, ionized water. That was a whole new thing for me. I had come off of 5 years of telecom, and there's a huge difference.
Different world.
Yeah, between telecom and water, man. So I started learning that, and basically what Danny said is, okay, Jerry, when we have presentations, anybody that you have, come bring them here. You set them down, man, and I will take care of the presentation, and I'll do everything I can. And he said, you learn this stuff. And then when I have people who have more like technical questions, I'll refer them over to you.
Gotcha.
And I was like, okay, that seems fair.
Yeah.
Little did I know that Danny was going to go 6A in 3 months. Okay?
That's a lot of
and
people.
His organization grew very, very rapidly. So at first I was getting a couple phone calls a day. And within the first realistically 6 months of being with Enagic, I literally was getting 50 or more phone calls daily. And it was, and it was all different people. The thing that was ironic was that I started discovering that if I got 50 people who called me, they only called with 10 questions. That all 50. So basically it was like all these people had pretty much similar
You're
questions.
answering the same question multiple times.
Exactly. So I got real good at answering those questions. Well, I've dabbled in writing, pretty much all my life. And so I was like, God, this seems like a really stupid way to be doing things. So I decided to start jotting down the bulk of the questions that I was getting. The most common questions I was writing down. And then I was starting to write like response answers. Mm-hmm. Well, before I knew it, all of a sudden I had 128 pages, and I was like, wow, this is like a book.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh,
is this a book?
You know what? This would be a heck of a lot easier when someone calls me, asks me a question, instead of me giving them a 15, 20-minute answer 50 times a day. What if I just said, yeah, grab Ride the Wave and look at section 6. It'll explain exactly what you're looking for. And so that was what motivated it and stimulated the idea to go ahead and write the book. And so I did. And, we even had a big, book signing.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
And that was a blast. I did a training with contents of the book, and then we did a book signing afterwards. And it was really neat. That was a really cool experience. And now the Ride the Wave, it's in its 6th edition, as you had mentioned, 256 pages, because basically every time I did a new edition, I had learned something new. Mm-hmm. So I not only, the
updating
new edition,
old sections,
it was updating old
putting
sections,
new ones in.
Yeah, exactly. Adding like when Enagic added new machines. I have a machine section in there, so I had to update it because there was new machines. So yeah, that was what motivated me
very interesting
to write it in the first place. I guess it was kind of selfishly motivated. I just didn't want to handle all those calls anymore. It was getting overwhelming. I mean, it really was. It was.
I remember.
Yeah,
that was back when you had your little flip phone, and I felt like every minute it was, hello.
It kind of was.
All right.
Yeah, so that's.
Things are going to start ramping up a little bit now.
Okay.
So let's take on the next set of wings.
Okay.
We have a cayenne pepper hot sauce.
Okay. Cayenne pepper. This is level 3.
Level 3 of 7.
Okay. See how thick it is.
it's not bad. It's like a normal, like, cayenne-based hot sauce. Like a Louisiana hot sauce kind
like
of thing. Yeah,
Crystal or whatever.
Yeah, Crystal or Red Hots.
Oh. Yep. I mean, it smells just like Frank's.
Oh, does it?
It does. It smells just like Frank's. It smells like Tabasco.
All right.
Shall we?
We shall.
All right. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Ching.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Basically exactly Frank's Red Hots.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with that.
That's tasty.
So, I've read Ride the Wave, and it covers so many important topics. But what do you think are the 3 most important sections of the book?
Wow.
I know there's so many now.
Wow. I would say as far as distributors are concerned, the section on competition, I would say is probably a really good one because I delve into the so-called competition.
Yeah.
To kind of explain who the others in this industry actually are. So, by doing that, I think it really helps empower distributors to have a better understanding and to not be afraid. That's
Absolutely.
the biggest thing, man, is like, I think it's like the bully syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
If these other ionizer sellers, a lot of them do act like they take on very like bully type stuff. It's they'll belittle, they'll berate, they'll make up stuff, they'll say things that just aren't true, and so I think understanding them more and understanding that you don't have to be afraid of them by any stretch of the imagination, because the reality is if any of what these guys say or do was actually true, then they'd be a contender in this industry.
They'd be where we are.
They would be a Nagic. Exactly. It's so easy. When anybody says, well, how do you know a Nagic's the big one? Well, I don't know. They've sold more machines than anybody else.
Yeah.
They've changed more lives than anybody else. All these other, machines are desperately trying to be a Nagic.
Absolutely.
That's what they're trying to.
If Honda was as good as Mercedes, they'd be called Mercedes.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory in that regard. So I'd say the competition is a good one. One of the other ones that I think is really important, and I know people have mixed opinions about this, but effective sampling I think is really also important. That the book covers some aspects of how to sample, anchoring. And really being able to use the power of the water to help perpetuate your business, because the reality is most people are not consummate salespeople. They're just not, okay? And so selling can be very difficult for some people. When you learn how to sample and share, essentially what you're doing is you're letting the water do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Is really what it boils down to, is the water's the one who's taking the blunt of the task of proving to this person that there's something different. Now, most of the times what that something is just getting the person properly hydrated, and that's another reason that, sharing the water to me makes so much sense, because if the majority of the effect that's going to happen is by making sure that a person is properly hydrated, then why in the world wouldn't you incorporate the water? Because how do you prove that to somebody? Because the reality is, I'm a really good salesman. I really am. When I know my stuff, I can sell ice to Eskimos that already have a freezer full of ice, okay? But I can't talk somebody out of being dehydrated. You know what I mean? You can't do it. And so by learning to effectively sample, I think it's a really good thing because it levels the playing field. You don't have to be a super salesman. It gives you the opportunity to be able to really be effective in your stuff. What else? Well, probably the attending and even conducting events.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing too. Is that a lot of
it's very seldom talked about.
It is very seldom talked about. But the reason it's very seldom talked about is because most people don't understand the importance. they don't really understand what the real importance is. Because what everybody has to understand is when you go to an Enagic event, okay, even if you're just going as an attendee, you're also a participant. Because even in the audience, you know, your participation is a very important
Absolutely.
part.
Can you imagine a music concert with no one cheering?
Exactly. And that's the thing too that people have to understand, you know, events need to have energy and excitement, and the easiest way to explain that is, which would you rather go to? A concert or the library? Okay? And it's not to say that the library isn't a great place to go, but if you're looking for a fun time,
excitement,
exactly,
yeah.
if you're looking for a fun time, you're not going to be like, I'm going to go check out what's the card catalog? The Dewey Decimal System.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go check out the card catalog to find this book. No, man, you want where there's energy and excitement.
Absolutely.
And that's why that section of the book I think is really important. It's important because it outlines what your responsibility is, you know, as a distributor when you go to attend an event. But it also talks about conducting your own. And, you know, for a lot of people, that's like an overwhelming, daunting
it's just
task.
such a daunting task.
Yeah, because it's like they have no idea where to even start. And the book does cover that. I know you said 3, but there was one more section in the book that I think is also really important. Mm-hmm. It's called Distributor Essentials. The Distributor Essentials section, it just takes a couple of like kind of oddball topics.
Yeah.
You know, like how to read your genealogy report, what everything actually means.
Yeah,
and
it's sort of the, you know, check writing course and stuff like
Yes, it's to let you know that some of these odd things that
they
don't
will
really
come
get
up,
addressed,
yeah.
they're going to come up, and it's better for you to kind of understand them than to not.
Yeah.
So that's those are the sections I would say. If I was a brand new distributor and I grabbed that book, I think those would probably be the ones that I would want to read first.
Very interesting. So. All right, it's time for the next set of wings. Are you ready for this? Looks like we've got another green sauce here. And
oh my God, we're only halfway through.
Our green wasabi hot sauce.
Okay, I actually like wasabi.
Yeah, wasabi's pretty good. I did. Go ahead.
Okay.
Gotta make sure I don't cross-contaminate with other sauces that are on the plate.
Yeah, I know. That's what I...
Double up the pain.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. You're going in.
Well, like we said, man, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna
die a hero.
I'm gonna die with valor. Exactly.
This one's a little more watery.
Oh shoot, I really did put a lot on. Oh no, I didn't
smell
it.
It smells pretty pretty wasabi.
Okay.
All right, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Okay. Jeez Louise.
It's got that slight horseradish burn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's all that bad, though. Actually, a lot more mild than I anticipated. It smelled spicier than it really was. I hope it's not a sneak up on you kind of one.
It is. I can tell. It is.
So now that we're getting into the hotter sauces, let's get into the hotter questions.
Okay.
Compliance has become a very hot topic in Enagic lately. What should distributors do to ensure they are protecting both the company and themselves?
That's an excellent question. The first thing that distributors have to understand is why being in compliance and staying in compliance is so important. So, because of the nature of our business, direct sales, that kind of falls under this umbrella of direct sales, network marketing, multi-level marketing, our industry gets very scrutinized because there's a lot of bad characters. There's a lot of bad players, unfortunately. Even the companies themselves.
Yeah.
You know, there's some companies that they already know they're going to be out of business in 3 years. They know it already, but they're going to try to
take
grab
as much
as
they can
go as
while
they
they're
can
there.
until they get, you know, popped by the FTC and shut down. So the thing that I think distributors really need to understand when it comes to compliance is that there's only really 2 things that could hurt us. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's income claims and medical claims. Which I know it's really hard because we're in an industry with a product that seems to have health-related ramifications. So you would think I should be able to talk about that.
Yeah.
However, what people have to understand is that to be able to talk about those things, the government insists on certain criteria that just simply haven't been met.
Yeah.
As far as testings and all these other things, and certifications and everything else like that. And it's not like the manufacturing certifications, it's like, all the red tape you have to go through to be able to say medically something does something. Okay. That's one of the reasons that I have really tried to start this campaign of focusing on the aspect of hydration and dehydration more so than anything else, because dehydration has been linked with tons of different physical ailments. It is established all the way up to the CDC, which is a governmental agency. So if we put our focus on aspects of dehydration and proper hydration more so than anything else, then we don't have to say it cures this or it cured that or anything else, because the aspect of the dehydration and proper hydration are enough. It's enough.
And it's enough of an issue.
Yeah, it is a big enough issue to where, that's the reason that if people are feeling better, that's the reason. They were probably chronically dehydrated. I mean, research studies have actually indicated that as many as 75 to 80% of the United States population are chronically dehydrated. Wow. Now, put that in context, okay? So that means that for every 1,000 people, 750 to 800 of them are chronically dehydrated. So obviously the dehydration aspect is a major component. So we got to make sure that we're protecting the ship, which also is protecting ourselves. Because I'm going to tell you, everybody, if something were to happen, you're not given advanced warning.
No.
They're not like going to come knock on the door and say, hey, we're going to come shut you down in a month.
You have 30 days to get your affairs in order.
Yeah, no, they're going to knock on the door and say, this whole thing's shut down. Lock the doors, and I'm not kidding. That's what happens. And so it's really important that if you're a distributor, you're watching this video right now, we're having a good time and joking and having fun, but this is a very serious topic, and we all have to make sure that we stay in compliance, because if we don't, this could be taken away from us very, very easily. And one of the things I need to make sure that all of the U.S. distributors understand is that Enagic International Inc. is the Enagic company in Japan. Enagic USA is a completely separate company.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand this. They think, well, if anything happened to Enagic USA, Enagic in Japan would not stand for it. Well, Enagic in Japan wouldn't have anything to do with it because this is Enagic USA. So understand that Enagic USA, if it gets shut down, it's the U.S. that gets shut down. It's all of us that are here who created a life with this product and with this business. We're the ones who are going to be affected by it, not the whole rest of the world. The whole rest of the world, they'll go on as business as usual the very next day. Okay? So yeah, it's so important to not make those medical claims and not make the income claims. And everybody has to understand what income claims mean, man. Anything to do with money. That means posting your checks on Facebook. That means talking about, talking in public about how much dough you made or how much dough somebody else has made.
All the stuff you've bought.
Yeah, all the things that you've bought, the things like that. If on the last training that I did, I kind of covered this particular topic. So if you didn't see that last training, you should take a look at it, because I really covered it in depth. But staying in compliance is absolutely vital to making sure that this project and these products are available in our marketplace for a very, very long time to come. The only people that are going to screw this up will be us, the distributors. So if anything ever happens, I hate to say it, but you got to go look in the mirror and realize we were the ones who did it. So that's the reason. That's the reason the compliance is so important. And
that makes sense.
And again, no income claims, no medical. If you even think it might construe either one of those,
just don't do it.
Err on the side of caution and don't do it. Don't say it. Don't post it. Don't show it. Say it, post it, show it. That'll be good.
All right. Well, looks like the intensity's starting to build a little bit. So you ready for the next set of wings?
I don't know if I am. My lips are starting to get a
little tingly.
Yes.
Looks like we have a traditional sriracha hot sauce.
Okay.
A very popular hot sauce.
Okay.
A little shake.
A little shake there. Let's see. I'll let you put it on first this time. See the thickness.
Got a little bit coming out. Oh, this is
thick.
thick.
Oh no!
Let a little air get in.
Give it a shake.
Come on.
Come on! Don't be a girl.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Woo!
And I didn't.
All right.
Okay, well,
If we're gonna do this, we gotta do it right, right?
Evidently. Okay, that's a decent.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, this smells like sriracha.
Yes, it does.
Cheers, sir.
Nail on the hatch, kiddo.
I'm actually a big fan of sriracha, so.
I'm a decent fan of it. Yeah, it's got a little bit more bite to it.
A little bit of a kick.
But
Still manageable.
doable, but the lips are definitely
Tingling.
tingling.
So in addition to your books Ride the Wave and Market King, you've also created a comprehensive line of other materials. Are these NAGIC compliant, or do they meet NAGIC compliance requirements?
Good question. So, when we had the convention back in 2016 in Vegas, NAGIC allowed vendors, distributor vendors, to be able to be there and sell their wares. And so I submitted at that time basically every product that I had.
Yeah.
So actually on the going6a.com website, there is a new section specifically regarding compliance, so that distributors, they can go and they can actually see what products have actually been submitted to a NAGIC, that they were reviewed and approved, and they'll be able to see that list. Recently, I introduced 3 new magazines: Physical Fitness, the Heads and Tails Pet Magazine, and then the Global Business Review Magazine. Those have not been officially.
There you go.
Okay.
I saw a little something.
That's fine. Hey, man.
We're eating wings.
You know how I eat.
I know,
Come on.
yeah.
The fact that my face isn't completely covered right now is a surprise. So, but I haven't had the opportunity to get them submitted and reviewed because really the opportunity has availed itself. Because they only really review stuff if there's a reason for them to
review
an issue
it or something.
right? However, I did something a little bit different. Well, with the business review, the Global Business Review magazine, it has been reviewed by a NAGIC because they actually bought copies.
Oh wow!
For the San Diego convention that they included in all of the gift bags.
Oh, okay.
So right off the bat, I've got to assume
it's compliant.
It's cool with them since they gave them away to their own distributors. So the Global Business Review magazine, it definitely is okay. The other 2 magazines, there were some questions. I was questioning it because I had some notable celebrities that were in there. So I actually sought out a very predominant industry attorney. I gave him copies of both the magazines for him to be able to review and then give me his legal opinion on. Well, he did, and not only did he give me his legal opinion, but he also actually cited case law to show the way that I used the information is completely allowable under fair use practices. So that's also on that part of the website with the compliance part.
So it's compliant with the NAGIC and the law.
Yeah, to me the law is probably the most important part. Because obviously I don't want to put a NAGIC in jeopardy.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the distributors in jeopardy. I don't want to put consumers in jeopardy. And most importantly, at least from my vantage point, is I don't want to put me in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that it was okay, and that's the reason that, those particular printed materials, they have very strong content that is also permissible by law, and that's to me the most important thing because
Absolutely.
I do not want to do anything that would ever put the company in jeopardy, ever put anybody in jeopardy. So I made sure, I went that extra step, and you know what? I don't know if everybody else who has materials or offers things goes to that extent. I actually know for a fact that most of them don't.
Not to that extent, absolutely.
So I take that very seriously because you know, the way I look at it is, look, if somebody else was to do something and get this business shut down, I would feel like I'd be within my rights to be pissed, okay? To be really angry, specifically at that person,
Yeah.
okay? I don't ever want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So I've made sure that I've gone through, I've jumped through hoops that I didn't even need to. But I knew it was the right thing to do. I knew it was going to be the right thing for everybody else as well. Because I want anybody who uses anything that I've created, I want them to know unequivocally that what they're putting out there is absolutely okay.
Being able to use it with 100% confidence.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. All right, well, this is where things are starting to get kind of serious. The heat's really going to be on now. We got our next sauce here. It is a habanero sauce.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever eaten a habanero. I have, and it was a very
Interesting.
memorable experience, I guess you could say.
Oh,
All right, let's see what we got. Ooh. You know,
Killing me.
I've never said something smells red, but this smells red.
Oh, jeez.
You got to, yeah.
Okay. Man.
Whew.
All right. Don't whip out, Jerry.
Nah, you got this. Come on.
Don't whip out. Don't whip
This is
out.
the first episode. We can't have someone giving up already.
Oh, no, I'm not. I meant I'm going to douse this thing.
Oh, okay.
I might. I hopefully will live to regret this.
Cheers.
It's getting serious.
You know, it's kind of got a sweet flavor. Not as bad as I anticipated, initially at least. I'll give it a minute.
Yeah, I have a feeling this one's going to be a sneaker. I can feel it in the back.
I can hear it in the back of your
I
throat.
can feel it in the back of my throat. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
The tingling.
It started. This was a bad idea.
Woo. All right. So you mentioned the magazines.
Yeah, this was a really bad idea.
So you mentioned the magazines.
No.
What titles are currently available, and what's the best way for distributors to get the most out of these materials?
Oh. Well, the magazines that are currently available, right now, I've got the Physical Fitness, Heads and Tails, and the Global Business Review. I've got some other magazines that basically we just ran out of inventory. I haven't had them. Oh God, it is hard to freaking concentrate. That is a little bit warm.
I'm glad I'm not in your seat.
Yeah, because you're just reading off of the page.
Yeah,
man.
you have to think.
I have to think. This sucks. Okay. What was the question?
All right, you mentioned the magazines.
Okay.
What titles are currently available, and what's the best way for the distributor base to use them?
Okay. So the magazines that are available, like I said, are the Physical Fitness magazine, the Heads and Tails, and then the Global Business Review. And the best way to actually use the products that I've created, for the most part, is, you know, they were made to be used in actually two different ways, actively and passively.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just loving this
Oh, I
answer
am.
because you know this.
Absolutely.
Because you know this is just burning. with me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Actively and passively. So actively, that should pretty much go without kind of, you know, like it's me handing it to somebody who might have interest in that particular thing. Passively is when you are allowing the materials to do work for you without you even being there. You know, this is actually wow. Damn it. The body just reacts the way it does, man.
Absolutely.
The mind might be into it as much as it wants to, but the body's going to be like, no, I'm going to start pouring snot out of your face. That's, okay. Passively is like, you know, you go down to Staples and you buy one of those little acrylic magazine rack stands with a little card holder in the front of it, and then you print out a little label that says, for our valued clientele, and then you go to places like a hair salon or a barbershop or a gym
Yeah.
or, you know, or even like some place where people are sitting, like there's a waiting room, okay? You slap one of your labels with contact information on there, and it says complimentary copy for our valued customers. You put those magazines in there. You find a business that's willing to allow you to have a little bit of counter space, and they can now give those. It's something that their clients can take for free. So that becomes a value-added proposition for the business.
Absolutely.
Because now they're able to give something away to their clients that doesn't cost them anything. And then if a sale was to happen from that location, and you were to, get your commission and come back and throw the person $100 bill, and them looking at you like, well, where did this go? Oh, well, someone bought one of the machines from this, so I just wanted to. This is a little thank you. You think they're going to promote your stuff? You think they're going to? You think, that they just created a brand new income source that didn't exist before. So I don't think a lot of distributors actually understand how to passively utilize these types of things. So that's really what they were meant for. Obviously, active, was meant, but passively is really that's
excel.
That's really the money maker for you, because then you could be in, essentially, you could be in 20 different places all the time.
Yeah.
And being able to have your information in front of people in a professional, very nice and informative type, situation. So that's really the to me the most effective way to do it. And I've done it myself. I mean, I've had our stuff set up in our bank. I've had it set up in the waiting room at a Pep Boys. That it's the all sorts of different things at a salon. I mean, I've done it and I know it works. That's the reason I recommend it.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that would be the most effective way. Obviously, the active way is, if somebody's interested in sports, you give them physical fitness. If somebody's interested in the business and you're not sure exactly how to explain the whole thing, that's when you give them the Global Business Review, because that's why it was written. It was written to explain the whole thing.
That makes sense.
So.
All right. You've made it to the end. We are on our last wing. This is the hottest sauce we currently have.
Oh, man.
The finish line is within sight, but we are not quite done yet. So we're going to have to dig on these wings. What we have here is a ghost pepper hot sauce. This is the level 7 in this little kit. So.
Yeah, that last one had a little bit of kick. Oh, really?
All right.
Okay, well.
Let's go for it.
Oh, man.
Let's just go for it. It smells like a Western movie. I can smell the hot
smells
summer
like the bad
heat.
guy in a Western.
Yeah, exactly.
It smells like a bandito or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
You know what?
All right. Go big or go home.
Yeah. Ugh. My mouth is
He'll be fine tonight, but tomorrow, who knows?
I didn't even think about it. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Uh,
Oh, jeez. I can already feel this one starting.
me too.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Put a lot of sauce
Oh,
on it.
man.
Whew. Okay.
I can do
So,
this. I can do this.
in addition to the magazines, you've also created trifold brochures.
Yes.
What topics do they cover, and what is the best way for distributors to use them most effectively?
Okay. First thing they do is not eat that hot sauce. Wow. It just
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
We got some coconut oil and olive oil here, which really help curb the spiciness from the capsaicin in the sauces. If you need it, you're more than welcome to. You've already made it past the last wing.
I'm going to see if I can just...
Puff it out.
Man. Wow. That one's hot.
Yes, it is.
That one's hot. Okay. Trifold brochures.
Yes.
We got the antioxidants. We've got the feeling trapped, kitchen innovations, balanced beauty, hardcore hydration, the eco-friendly, tap into a fortune, and then I even made wow, this is getting hot. I even made a brochure for one of the largest single marketplaces on the entire planet, and that is India. So those are the different titles that I have. And again, I when I made the wow, I'm starting to sweat. I can feel it dripping. Wow. Wow.
I can feel the nose going a little.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Can your eyes sweat?
I think I call that crying.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I just have sweaty eyes. Okay. The different brochures that I have, they're all basically targeted marketing. They're targeted for a specific topic. The only one that is more generalized, I guess, I would have to say, is kind of like the antioxidant one. It's just more general, about the aspect of how our water can be considered an antioxidant and how that actually works.
Only could be an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All the rest of them are, pretty much like feeling trapped. That's actually like, about weight loss and how, being dehydrated causes your body to do weird things.
Yeah.
And being over acidic. So, wow. Wow. That one was hot. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I'd say that as far as the most effective way to use them, pretty much the same thing. It's actively and passively. The brochures are a little bit less expensive, so using those for like more of a like mass type thing where the materials, the way that I developed them were stages. You give somebody a brochure, and if that person comes back and they're still interested, then you graduate them to a magazine.
Makes sense.
Type of thing.
Expose them to more and more information as time goes on.
But in a different way.
Yeah.
But the brochures are a great way to really get people to understand some basic information and really talk to them about what they would like to talk about. Is really what that boils down to.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Well, you made it to the end, and we've covered a lot of ground today. And I think your answers will help a lot of distributors get their 2020 off to the right start. So please, look at the camera and let the Enagic distributors know what you're doing in 2020 and how they can get Ride the Wave and the rest of your materials.
Okay, so I wrote some stuff down because I did not, and I'm glad I did, because right now, brain function and mouth function are kind of like not syncing up. Sorry. No. It's, so I'm glad I did that. Man. Okay, so the first thing is, visit and like our Powerful H2O Facebook page. I think most people are on Facebook. You can just search at Going 6A. We're in the process of changing that page over to Going 6A, but it is searchable right now at Going 6A. So you can just do that. You want to also subscribe to our free distributor resource website email list by just going to going6a.com. It's our free resource website. And go to subscribe, and then you can it's an opt-in email, subscribe, and then you'll get all sorts of notifications, when we're like running sales or introducing a new product, or if we have like a special training or something that might be going on, you'll get notification about that. You can also go to going6a.com and check out all the different free resources that are available, and the online materials store, as well as our merchandise store with apparel and stuff like that. There is a brand new product offering from going6a.com. It's the Enagic 2020 Challenge Mystery Marketing Materials subscription. So for $24.99 and a $6.99 shipping charge, subscribers will get a minimum of $75 worth of retail product. I wrote down here, explain the challenge, and I'm glad I did that, because right now, if I didn't have that written here, I probably wouldn't do it. But basically what the idea for 2020, oh wow, sorry.
That's okay.
Kind of the motto for 2020 for Enagic is challenge. And it's about challenging yourself. So what the Enagic 2020 Challenge Mystery Marketing Materials box actually is it's a box of materials that you're not going to know what it is, but it's going to have a retail value of at least $75. And what the challenge actually is to take those materials in that box and distribute them before the next box comes. It's kind of forcing your hand to maybe go towards markets that you weren't really going to go to otherwise. So for example, let's say that you got a package of brochures that are for India, and you were like, well, what am I supposed to do with these? What you're supposed to do with those is find 25 people that have a connection with India. And by getting that mystery box, it's going to almost force your hand to be not only be active, but to be active in areas you wouldn't otherwise be in. It is for the USA only. The subscription's for the USA only. But it is available now. You can go onto the going6a.com website, go to the online store, and right at the top, it kind of explains everything, and then there's a subscribe button, and you can cancel at any time, but all you have to do is click on that, fill out the information to subscribe, and then boom, you're going to start getting your monthly package immediately, okay? You can also order Ride the Wave on the website as well. There's actually a link in the bar, in the address bar, to go there. Ride the Wave is currently available through Amazon, both in print and digital, so you can get it either way. Also, something that's kind of cool is that Amazon has a print-on-demand feature that allows a book to be printed in specific countries. So that is one of the things that's available. It's not available. I don't know if it's available in every marketplace, but you can get the print-on-demand copy, like in Canada, in I'm pretty sure in India, in Japan,
in the U.S.
In the U.S. But it's actually printed there, so you save a ton on shipping.
Yes. And it's also printed for you.
Yeah, it's printed for you. Each one is printed individually, basically for your order. So it's not like they just printed up a bunch and they're waiting. They literally print it when you order it. So it is specifically for you. But the thing that's helpful, though, is that a lot of people in the past have purchased Ride the Wave, but the shipping costs were so much, because it's heavy. It's a heavy book. So, people who are out of country, they were getting hit with huge shipping fees. Now doing it through Amazon, at least for certain markets, those shipping fees are a thing of the past. So that's very advantageous. And something else that I decided to do in honor of this, and this is just burning my face off, man. In honor of the new year and this special interview with my son, who I'd like to say you did a fantastic job, by the way. You held your own pretty darn good, man, because I'm like, my mouth is on fire right now. In honor of the new year and this very special interview, the materials on the going6a.com website are 50% off. They're half off if you use the code HOT, H-O-T. So in honor of
Makes
you.
Sense.
But this only applies to the products in the materials and more section. Unfortunately, it does not apply to the apparel section, Ride the Wave, or the subscription. Unfortunately, it doesn't apply to any of those. It only applies to the, there's a section that actually says materials and more. Anything in there is 50% off, including the magazines, the brochures. We have a few of the backpacks left. A lot of people got those during the holidays to give as gifts to their distributors, and they loved them. Some of the DVDs, all that stuff, 50% off, but you do have to use that code HOT. So if you're going to buy them, make sure that you use that and save yourself some money. So that's all I've got. And yeah, as far as for 2020, I'm just going to be hitting it hard. I've got some ideas that I think are going to work really well for 2020. I really want to start trying to build our local market here in Temecula now that we're a little bit more established and kind of settled in. But that's pretty much what I've got going. I'm gonna take 2020. Not only am I going to challenge myself, but I'm going to focus my 2020 vision, and I am going to see my way to the end of this year and be where I want to be at the end of this year.
Well, thanks for coming on today. You climbed this Everest of hot sauces with me. All the links that were mentioned will be down in the description below, so go ahead and click those to go directly to the different places he had mentioned. This has been Hot Topics with the Kangen Kid, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode.